Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, my name is David Beal.
I'm Tom Ryman. David Bill?
David Beal. My name is David Beal.
My name's David Beal.
Yeah. We just watched Ant-Man and the Wasp.
So, how long have you been Ant-Man again?
Not long. It just sort of happened.
I wish I could fight bad guys like you.
I seem to mess it up almost every time.
Maybe you just need someone watching your back.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah. This is
fine.
It's exactly what I thought. I walked into the movie like, I bet this is going to be fine.
Yeah.
And then I watched it and I was like, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I like that the two Ant-Man movies so far have been relatively standalone.
Yes. I like that the scale was very small.
Scale's very small, yeah.
I think I still get mad. Every Marvel movie now, I get mad at to an extent because, as people know, everybody died the movie before this, or half of everybody died.
Yes.
So there was still this weird tonal shift. We're going to, I guess, jump right to spoilers because the post-credits, the mid-post-credits scene is like Ant-Man going into the subatomic level and then everybody, like Michael Douglas and the Wasp and everybody dying. Disappearing, and it's after this like fun romp movie.
Yeah, the movie is a lot of fun and it's very lighthearted. Like everything turns out okay. It's a super happy ending.
No one dies.
Nobody dies.
I loved that.
And then like, you know, we have this jaunty credit sequence that's really fun. It's like a bunch of miniatures setting up recreating scenes from the film, and then the mid-credit scene comes in where they're kind of like jokey and they launch old Paul Rudd into the quantum realm, and then he's trying to get back and everybody stopped answering the radio, and it cuts back up and you see that they've all been turned into ash by Thanos.
Yeah.
So it's like the movie's like this happy, this you know, like this jaunty little fun ride, and then it's like fuck ye.
Yeah,
remember Infinity War.
It feels like it's chained down by its cinematic universe with that, because it's like tonally not appropriate. And then they try to bring it back at the actual post-credit scene, which is the ant drumming. For some reason, I guess the ant has just learned to drum, which you see in the trailer. It's what you see in the trailer.
Yeah, they said they programmed it with his daily routine.
Right.
But even then, it's like not fully jokey because
they show
they cut to like blasted, abandoned San Francisco with the emergency broadcast siren blaring.
Yeah.
And you see all the streets are empty, and then it's just the ant playing drums.
Yeah, so it's that tonal thing where it's like, okay, Marvel, which is it? Should I care or should I not? Like, is this a joke or is it not? Everybody is dead.
Except Paul Rudd himself isn't dead, but he's trapped in the quantum realm.
I like how they did that because it seems like, because it still gives him something where you're like, oh shit, how's he going to get out? But like tonally, again, like I almost wish they had ignored Infinity Wars. Like, it's weird because people would be talking about that. Like, where's the Thanos stuff? But I wish this came before Infinity Wars, and I wish it just had nothing to do with the cinematic universe. Like this, why couldn't Infinity Wars have come now, and Ant-Man been earlier in the year?
I don't know.
Didn't that seem more appropriate?
Maybe.
Because it would have been like one last fun...
Yeah, I don't know.
And then, I don't know.
But let's not speculate too much on when they released it. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like it just seems... I don't know. That's my only big criticism of the film, is that it's kind of like locked into the cinematic universe, so it had to address the Thanos stuff.
Yeah,
but I would have been...
It has to end on this weird bummer for a film that's so light and like just...
It's a kid's
fun.
movie.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking that because I've been trying to introduce my nephew into the cinematic universe. He's like getting to that age. I think he saw the first Ant-Man, actually. And Ant-Man seems like a good way to introduce a kid Like, it's the one that's the most, like, this one, no one dies. It's a little scary for a kid, but it's not.
I think, well, it's also, I think it's the only one that has a kid in it.
Yeah, and it felt like when he's making, at the beginning, I guess we should go through the movie.
Sure.
But at the beginning, he builds a fort for his daughter.
It's like a maze.
Yeah, and they're going on this adventure.
Maze. Yeah.
And it reminded me of a kid's movie, of a Disney movie, because it was a little too elaborate to ever actually exist.
Yeah.
And so I was like, right away, and then they slide out of the house, and I thought, like, oh, this is like when they built that, like, Rube Goldberg machine in Goonies, where it's like, this is delightful and weird, but it's not reality. It's like a kid's movie reality.
Yeah, well, they sort of explain it by pointing out that he's been under house arrest for 2 years.
That's true,
so he's had nothing else to do but try to come up with ways to entertain his daughter when she comes over. So it's too good.
Yeah, but you're right. They do actually explain that.
Yeah.
Like,
it's. I also like that the Ant-Man movies are able to do. This one had more fun with it than the first one did. I guess because they're still trying to figure stuff out in the first one. But they really had more fun with the shrinking in this movie. Like they really figured out some clever ways to do it. Yeah.
And
just having giant ants everywhere, or like I guess they might have even been regular sized ants, and the building was just small at that point.
Right, and then bringing around the building everywhere, like it's the thing everybody's after throughout the movie is that building that you see in the trailers, and like they're just passing around like a football and like making it big in random places, and like that was great. Yeah.
The shrinking stuff is real fun in this movie.
I think I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah,
like,
it was fun.
It had a few laugh out loud moments in it. It was, the stakes were low but mattered, because it was like, I want.
Well, they were all personal stakes.
Yeah,
like
it was a very character driven movie.
Yeah, you have basically four if you count Walton Goggins, but you have three competing main characters. You have Hope and Hank, who are trying to get back into the quantum realm to find Hope's mom, Janet,
right,
who is Michelle Pfeiffer. You have Paul Rudd, Scott Lang, who's just trying to last the last 3 days of his house arrest.
Yeah, that was great. That's a really good fucking
and also trying to keep
story.
his business, his security company, with his ex-con friends from the first film, like Michael Pena and T.I. and the Russian guy. And then you have Ghost, who is sort of a villain, but she's also chasing the laboratory because she has this weird condition that makes her constantly phase in and out of reality, and she can use the energy from the quantum realm to cure herself. So they're all chasing the football for it's all character driven reasons that they're all chasing the same football.
They did a good job with Ghost of putting her right on the edge, because when they first showed that she was in pain, I thought like, oh, okay, she's gonna be good. Like we're sympathizing with her. Like the movie wants us to sympathize, and then they put her right on the edge. Though.
Yeah, she gets more unhinged as the movie goes on,
and so that's when I was like, oh shit, maybe they are going to make her a villain.
She might be bad.
And then at the end, they do a great thing, which is that they redeem her only in the eyes of essentially her father.
Yeah,
Laurence Fishburne.
Yeah,
like that was a great way of doing that, because I was scared that they were gonna all like team up and be like, "Hey, it's all right, I tried to kill you," and they didn't do that. They sort of just go their separate ways, and it's like, oh, these two have a lot of shit to work out.
Yeah,
but like it's not like, oh, she's good now.
No,
it's just that she's guilty. She feels guilty for what she did, and he like forgives her. Mm-hmm. And then they keep it kind of complex. It really was there was moments in the movie where I was thinking like, man, we really haven't had an action sequence in a while. It's just been character stuff.
Yeah, the movie is mostly character stuff. Yeah, the action is cool too. That's a fun thing with the Ant-Man series is they get to be really creative in a really weird way, like a weird outside the box way with how they come up with their fight scenes, because you have two characters that can shrink and grow at will. Yeah, there's rules. It's very basic rules, but those rules enable them to do really creative shit. Yeah, it's great. Like make a salt shaker suddenly get big. Get big, or like just shrink and have the bad guys chase her around a kitchen. Yeah. Oh yeah, and it's like they vanish. It's like vanishing. Like they're very similar to Ghost. So small, yeah. Yeah.
which is really cool. Yeah, it's man, I think I like this more than the first Ant-Man. Because I think the first Ant-Man,
I was more invested in it. I think
I was coming down off of the Edgar Wright thing.
Yeah.
It was like I kept thinking about what could have been. And also I feel like this was less like the smaller stakes and the more character driven stuff just made it better to me. And then of course having the Wasp there. Like I think the first Ant-Man was fine, but it was like they were trying to like get us into the universe.
Yeah.
And so like they just went with like, okay, just have your standard villain.
Yeah, the Corey Stoll in the first movie is very generic.
Yeah, and just, okay, big explosion and the fate of... I forget what's at stake there. He's just trying to kill everybody or something. I don't know.
I forget. He's trying to make his own suit.
Yeah. But I know there was like...
And he was going to like sell it or
yeah,
something.
I think...
He's going to sell a bunch of nukes maybe? I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched it. Like, there's probably... You guys are probably listening to this right now and screaming at us like what the plot was to Ant-Man.
I don't think... I've only seen it maybe a couple times. Again, it didn't like... I don't know. It didn't interest me as a movie, and so it
didn't have the shoehorned Avengers sequence in.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't show. I guess they couldn't have shown any other Avenger because. Okay, no, wait, just a fucking second. Hold on.
Yeah.
So that post-credit sequence, they're trying out that subatomic thing. Meanwhile, Thanos has attacked the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't make sense.
Well,
they're like that would be all they would be talking about, right?
You would think, yeah.
Like you would have to like if they're doing that test, it could be like Ant-Man being like, "Look, we need to figure this out. Like there's shit going on. I want to help," or like where like they're just that doesn't. That's tough.
Yeah,
that's real tough. They're in like San Francisco and they're acting like nothing else exists.
Yep.
They really should have made this before Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
That's a real bummer.
Yeah, the post-credit sequence throws a lot of it off.
Yeah, it soured it.
Timeline-wise.
Because everything else is great, and then the post-credit sequence kind of made me go, damn.
It's like a gut punch after it.
Yeah. But it's like a gut punch in the sense that it doesn't make any sense now.
Well, in both ways, but yeah, you're definitely right that it doesn't make sense that... Yeah, that they wouldn't be aware of any of that shit going on.
Yeah,
that would be all over the news.
Yeah,
it is all over the news. We see it in Infinity War.
Yeah,
like I get why maybe Scott wouldn't be there. I mean, maybe
he's not detained. He's not under house arrest.
No, he's not anymore.
You'd think they would get involved with that.
Yeah, you would expect them to.
Yeah, that's tough. That's real tough. Because it felt like they made a great movie, and then some producer was like, "You have to have an Infinity War. You got
to tie it to Infinity War."
Yeah, and they're like, "Look, we don't. Okay,
I don't see where it fits."
Yeah, like we made a great movie where everybody lives. Where like it's like, oh my god, like this is again. It's a great achievement, I think, to make a movie. At least these days, superhero movies especially, where like because this is why I wanted Black Panther to be is like okay, everybody sort of lives and like. There's still like not the bad guy isn't completely good, but it's like ambiguous and like, you know, like that's what I had hoped for Black Panther, and they couldn't do that. And this they did it where they're like, no one dies. There isn't a moment where the bad guy is like murdered and everybody's happy. It's just
Spider-Man: Homecoming does that.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, and that was really good.
Yeah.
And so like more of that would be nice, especially for movies like these that are meant for kids and like they're kind of. It's like I find death to be weird in these, and maybe this is me getting older, where it's like because like Indiana Jones you look at and he's like murdering people and there's like fun music playing and it's
in Indiana Jones the bad guy always does something to cause their own
that's
destruction. True. They flirt with the supernatural thing in the wrong way and it kills them.
Right. But yeah, I guess it's a bummer to have. Yeah, and I know they're not. I know they're not really gone, but it's like have a movie that achieved like, and everybody's alive. I thought Michelle Pfeiffer was gonna like die, and it was gonna be this tragedy.
I did not expect the ending to be as happy as it was. Like, so she's just back now, and Hank didn't die, and she's back, and they get to have their house, and Hope gets her parents back. I was like, so it's just good.
Yeah, okay. That was really surprising.
Yeah,
because like the part where she comes out and she's like. talking to her daughter. I expected Ghost to like break her neck or something.
Oh, right, and you don't see Hank for a long time. So I'm like, shit, did Michael Douglas just die in a crash or something? Because when he goes down there to get her, I'm like, one of these, they're not gonna make it out,
right?
They totally, because I'm so used to the melodrama,
to some writer being like, I have to make it mean
It's got to
more.
be tragic and stuff. Well, I mean, it can mean a lot to have the. You're right. I'm starting to get weird about because death in comics it's meaningless anyway,
right?
So it's weird that you would build up like a big character like, oh, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a recent example that would fit. It would be like making an X-Man movie and killing Magneto,
right?
To be like, oh, you just smoked one of the most interesting and popular characters in the storyline.
Yeah,
just I don't know. It would, and
you're right. Comics bring people back all the time.
Yeah,
so why? Like that's again that was what with Infinity War where it was like everybody's dead and they're like, and we'll see you next time. And it's
right,
like,
yeah, and it's
so what's the point?
I mean, at least in this one they had the presence of mind to put a question mark at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Return to not just be like,
we'll see you next time.
See you next time. I mean, the last one does. Infinity War did say Thanos.
Really, yeah.
It's like, oh, great. Oh, perfect.
Good.
But yeah, no, it reminds me of when I saw Tim Burton's Batman for the first time and the Joker dies at the end of it. I was like, really?
And then he
no more
stays
Joker,
dead.
huh?
Yeah.
Like, you're really calling a shot there.
That is insane, isn't it? Because they're like, oh yeah, the most iconic villain.
Yeah,
we're gonna get rid of him immediately.
Yeah.
Because we can't afford Jack Nicholson. Yeah, that is nuts. Oh, that goes into that Tim Burton story. That's something else where they told him you can't kill Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
So he did it twice in Mars Attacks. But yeah, I think I like this more than Infinity Wars.
They're different.
They're very different.
Completely different kinds of movies.
This just I was more emotionally invested this because it was small scale, because it was like we're just trying to save Michelle Pfeiffer.
Well, I liked that everybody had a specific goal and it never changed.
Yeah, that was nice.
That it just things, it reminded me a lot of like, you're right, like this felt like a kind of like a not necessarily like a kid's movie, but like a kid-friendly adventure movie. It reminded me sort of like Goonies and sort of like just,
I don't know, Jurassic Park almost. Even Jurassic Park is more grisly.
Menacing.
Yeah. This was just at no point did I feel bad watching this, and we were watching it in a theater full of kids, and the kids were fucking pumped. They were having a great time.
Yeah,
I thought they'd be bored.
It reminded me a lot of like. And what I was going to say is it fits in line with that comparison because it reminded the entire movie as a whole reminded me of a Spielberg chase.
Yeah,
where like it's a bunch of people going for the same thing, and then crazy shit keeps happening to like change the parameters of the chase.
Right, the football keeps getting tossed around.
Yeah,
and like, yeah, man, yeah, it's really like Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man doesn't. I wish it wasn't a Marvel series. Like, this could almost be its own thing, separate.
I think it... Yeah, I think... I hope it will continue, because it's been relatively self-contained.
Yeah, and it likes that.
And I hope Spider-Man keeps doing the same thing, where it's relatively self-contained.
Yeah, and
I mean, you got Iron Man zooming around in there, but...
Right, but it's still pretty self-contained.
Right, you don't need 100 years of... You don't need to watch all the Iron Man and Avengers movies to understand who Iron Man is in that movie.
Right, yeah, maybe Civil War.
Maybe, but they even give you the recap at the beginning.
Yeah.
This movie references Civil War a lot because that's why he's under arrest, and that's why that's why Hank and Hope are mad at him.
That's what's interesting is that I feel like they could have... Again, these still could have been self-contained movies if they did something at the end of the first Ant-Man to put him in jail or to to like create that rift.
Yeah,
like these. It's just that these easily could have been completely unrelated to Marvel films. Like they're very much not reliant on Marvel as a whole, and I think I like that about them. Yeah, I don't know. it's
I thought, here's a weird tangent. I thought we were going to get a cool reveal as to who Walton Goggins was working for. Because he kept mentioning, I've got a buyer who doesn't take no for an answer.
You're right.
So I thought it was going to be like
anything.
I was thinking, like, who's it going to, like, I was like, okay, what villain in Marvel is, like, tech obsessed? And I was like, oh, shit, could it be, like, Dr. Octopus or something like that? That, like, connect
That
to,
would've
like, a
been
Spider-Man
cool, yeah.
movie or some shit. So I thought, I was hoping maybe that would be, like, the mid-credit sequence or something, but...
That would have been neat. Yeah, some sort of connection to the universe would have been neat. But
after we just got done saying,
well, no, some sort of like new connection.
Yeah,
like something like that. Because obviously they couldn't do like anything from the Avengers. Like again, it's very weird because they couldn't do it because the Avengers are busy fighting aliens that everybody should be concerned about at that point.
They're busy fighting the purple avatar of death.
Yeah. Man, that's I really wish this was before Infinity Wars, but I mean, so be it. But yeah, it was that, and when the guy, oh shit, what was it? Him saying he had a connection in the FBI. I thought that was going to be something else, but it really just links back to that main FBI agent. Which, by the way, the FBI in this are hilarious. Did you notice that they don't go anywhere? Like, they don't go to more than one place at a time. Like, they're the FBI, but, like, whenever, like, they go after Ant-Man.
That's not true.
I could have sworn, because,
when they go, when Walton Goggins calls in the tip about he knows where they are, the crooked FBI agent shows up with a huge force at the lab in the woods, and then Randall Park, the main FBI agent, shows up with more guys at Scott's house.
Okay, so they don't do it at the very end. At the very end, he's like chasing Ant-Man in the city.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Scott's house. And I just thought that was silly.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It was silly that they didn't always just, like, send a few guys to his house early on.
Yeah, that's true.
There was one other FBI thing that I thought was hilarious. And, like, none of this hurts the movie. But when he's in the woods and he shrinks the building and the FBI are all behind the building and they have their guns out and they're like, freeze.
They were pointing their guns at a building.
What were they doing?
Yeah.
What did they know? Were they just like, shh, everybody shh.
Yeah, everybody be quiet.
He'll shrink it at any point now.
Wait for him to shrink it.
Yeah. That was really silly.
I mean, maybe they were sneaking up on the building and then it shrunk.
And they are like suddenly like, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
They could have done something there. I think they could have done a gag there or something.
One of the agents could have literally said, oh shit.
Yeah. Or like it shrinks and they're all just standing around.
Yeah.
And then they all like slowly look.
Yeah. Where they're like getting ready to where they're like planning out how they're going to enter the building and then it just disappears.
Yeah. I feel like there's a missed opportunity there.
Yeah, you could have done a fun joke there.
Yeah.
But I guess they just wanted to make that scene more serious.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, overall, the humor was pretty good.
Yeah, I like the parts where there's some clear improv in it.
Yeah, the part where the FBI at the end is like,
the very end when it's just Paul Rudd and Randall Park just talking.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they're just kind of going right now.
Yeah, that was great.
That was really funny. Yeah. Unless you want to go to dinner.
Yeah, the magic stuff was pretty good.
The magic,
I liked him being like, how did you do it?
Yeah, everybody was.
Yeah.
My favorite part of this movie, well, not my favorite part, but this is a part that I found particularly funny just to me, was in the first movie you have, and it makes sense after what happens in the first Ant-Man, but in the first Ant-Man you have Judy Greer and Bobby Cannavale, who are Scott's ex-wife and her new husband, and they're pretty adversarial to him.
Yeah.
And in this movie they're just the most supportive.
I love
give him
that.
Hug. Like Bobby Cannavale keeps coming in and giving him a big hug every time.
I think a sign of a bad movie is always when they reset the conflict.
Yeah.
You know, say you had a movie like, I don't know, Jurassic World, where it's Chris Pratt and this ex, and they're like, and then they end up kissing.
Yeah.
Like, and then they reset it in the sequel.
Yeah.
That was so fucking...
Yeah, we don't need to talk anymore about that. We spent 2 podcasts talking about that.
Made $1 billion, Tom.
I know it did. Let's talk about Ant-Man.
It's a real piece of shit.
Let's talk about Ant-Man.
Okay.
But yeah,
right. I
do appreciate that they didn't reset it because it makes sense. Like he
he saved their lives.
He saved the child's life.
Yeah.
He saved the little girl's life from crazy Corey Stoll.
That's so great is that the conflict was resolved in the sense that at the very end he tried to be a better father. And, like, they tried to be more supportive of him and, like, trust him a little more. Like, that was basically, if I remember, the end of Ant-Man. And it's them completely doing that.
Yeah.
And that was great, where they see Ant-Man on TV, and then they don't come to him later, like, what the hell was that? They're just like, hey! That's your business.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was really, I like the fucking characters evolved.
Yeah.
And, there was new conflict in this because it was just between, Scott Lang and Hope. Is that her name? Yeah. And it was based off something that made sense.
Yeah.
He fucking used the suit and got them in trouble.
Yeah, in serious trouble.
Like
they have to hide. They're like international criminals.
I love that this series, Ant-Man and this, are obsessed with de-aging characters. And it's never bad, but it's just like, oh, okay, Michelle Pfeiffer next, and then Laurence Fishburne.
All right, yeah.
They're just like, who we got? We're
gonna put the de-aging shit on you next.
Yeah. A part that I thought I was gonna not like, and then ended up being fun, was the high school or the school scene.
That was cute. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little forced, but it worked because the idea was he had his old Ant-Man suit, and he had hid it in his trophy he gave to his daughter. And they set up the daughter wanting to bring the trophy in for show and tell, which was like a weird thing to bring in for show and tell, but whatever. And then so he has to sneak into the school to get it. And the suit isn't working, so he's like a little kid size. And they do a whole little bit where he's a child.
He's child sized.
And that was cute.
Yeah.
The way he ran where he was wearing a sweater and he was like running with his sleeves out like a child, but it like felt like it was great because it felt like he wasn't trying to imitate a child. He was just very small. Yeah. And like hated it. And you realize like, oh yeah, that's how a child acts.
Yeah.
Their size is
awkward.
Yeah,
like
their size is a
size isn't right.
The world isn't built for them.
And him climbing down the steps as they're leaving the school
is
very much like a little kid going down the steps. It was good.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just for that scene. Like the fact that his suit doesn't work is throughout the film.
Yeah, and they do a good job with that. The car chase at the end, where he keeps getting big and small, and
the pier, and then when she has to pull him out of the water.
Yeah. And like the tech side of that didn't really, I couldn't follow it. Why? It didn't matter. Exactly.
Yeah, it just wasn't working.
Technology generally doesn't matter in these because it's that great version of science fiction. Like it's like old 50s science fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they even show it. They're even sitting there watching them at the end.
Yeah.
Which is the movie about the giant ants.
Yeah.
Like it's very.
That was the thing that I thought from the trailer. I was like, oh, that can't be good. It was the shot of the ant drumming. And even that, they figured out.
It made sense.
It made sense, yeah. Which was the ant was just programmed to go through his
routine while wearing the ankle bracelet.
Which had one of my favorite Michael Douglas lines where he's like checks in on the ant and it's doing the drum machine. And then he just goes, what are you, 15?
Yeah.
Which I thought was really good.
There's some good crotchety Michael Douglas shit in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, solid crotch.
He's just so angry.
Yeah, and I really did think they were maybe going to kill him or something. Like when he fakes the heart attack.
Yeah.
Because it was like Michael Douglas.
And then with the Altoids, which they set up.
Yeah. Yeah, they set up in this way that it seems like it's going to mean more. And it's just like, yeah, I got a tin full of ants. Emergency ants.
Sure do.
That I'm just keeping here.
Emergency ants. You never know when you're going to need a team of emergency ants.
Yeah. That was great because it does seem like they're setting up like, oh, he has a medical problem. It's pills or it's something serious.
No, I figured it was tech. That it was.
Oh, okay. That was like some fun thing.
Yeah. I knew because they show you twice Paul Rudd asking if he can have some, and Michael's like, no, slaps his hand. I was like, okay, it's not Altoids in there. It's something that's like a tech.
See, I knew it wasn't Altoids, but I figured it was something more serious than like a fun tech.
Oh, I don't know. I was just figuring because the speed of the film,
right? With
everything being tiny and hidden in weird spots. I was like, he's got like tiny shit.
Have like a tiny.
He has a fleet of cars inside an actual Hot Wheels collector case.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, the cars were. It was just a fun movie.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, and then that heart attack sequence. I was thinking like. My first thought was like, oh, Michael Douglas didn't want to be in any more of these movies. Like, and then he lasts. He survives.
Yeah, he sticks it out.
He goes to the beach.
Goes
Which
to the
that
beach.
can't be legal, right? Just throwing that house on the beach.
It's probably some fucking island somewhere.
Yeah. Maybe they own the property.
I don't know.
You know. But they do have an out. They have a good out, those two characters. It would be great, actually, if Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer just get to fuck on the beach and we never see them again.
Yeah, I was thinking that during that scene as well. We don't ever have to see them again.
Yeah. Have they been in a movie before?
Huh.
It was also nice seeing Michelle Pfeiffer, like, they made her look like someone her age, which I feel like the last time I saw her, like, it's that thing with actresses where they always, like, they don't make them, like male actresses are allowed to age. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And Michelle Pfeiffer just looked like a mom, and it was like, oh, okay. But have they been in anything?
I can't. No, I was trying to think of something, and I can't.
Yeah, because they're from the same era, and when they were like kissing, I was like, has this happened before?
Michael Douglas is older though. Like,
is he?
He's older than he looks.
But aren't they from the same like era of? I mean, like Success,
right?
Like
yeah,
the
yeah,
90s. Yeah.
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 Yeah. He's sort of like Kirk Douglas in that.
Right.
He's older than you think he is.
Right.
I'm gonna look that shit up. Actually.
I wonder if they actually aged Michelle Pfeiffer then. To be like, make
I
it
don't
not.
think so.
Yeah. She's got to be like maybe in her 50s.
She's probably 50s or 60s.
Michael Douglas is probably like.
Michael Douglas is like 70s.
Right.
Like,
oh, right. And he's still married to Catherine Zeta Jones.
Yeah,
that's working out. Good
well,
for them.
I mean, yeah.
No, it seems like it's working out, right?
He had that weird. Never mind. We don't even get into that.
Okay. But yeah. Oh, are you looking them up?
I am.
You doing the IMDb movie connections?
Born in 1944.
Jesus.
So.
That's like around the Nazis.
Yeah, he is in his 70s.
Jesus.
But yeah, what was the other thing? Oh, it was neat to have Walton Goggins and Michael Pena have a scene because they were on the Shield together. They actually played. They were partners on the Shield during one season.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked that the security guys did stuff. They got involved. Oh yeah, and the truth serum. I liked
truth serum was
I
funny,
liked the bit of a guy administering truth serum, insisting that there's no such thing as truth serum, while giving them truth serum. That was a good bit.
Yeah, it's a solid bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of good bits in this, and they all like the truth serum. Like it could have very easily been just a standalone bit, and then it has like an arc, because the idea is they give him the truth serum and insisted it's not, and then he rats them out, and at the very end he gives the bad guys the truth serum, and they're on it, and they're like, it is truth serum.
Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah,
it's a nice little payoff there.
Yeah, who wrote this?
There's a lot of writers.
There's a lot of
credited writers. Paul Rudd being one of them.
Okay, well there must have been someone like just keeping track of all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's nothing wrong. I think there's nothing wrong with a lot of writers if they're doing it just for jokes. Like,
right. I mean, I'm sure that's why Paul Rudd's name is in there.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan Harmon was talking about that idea in one of his podcasts of a writer's room where you put in like a fill in the blank line and send it to a bunch of writers, and you just get a list back of all the jokes that could go in that blank, and you just pick the best one. Like that's a fine system, as long as it's not a bunch of writers like furiously trying to fix the story of
right. Yeah,
you know. And that's what it felt like. It felt like they'd locked down the story, and they just had a lot of writers for punching it up.
Good punch-ups and stuff, maybe, yeah. Although you don't normally get a writing credit for a punch-up unless you do a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong about the process for this movie, at least.
Who knows?
I don't know. All I know is it came out pretty good.
Yeah.
I like it more than Infinity Wars, I think, because... and I would say that it's Infinity Wars had more to do, which is part of it. Like, it's not Infinity War's fault that I like this more. It's just that this had a very simple story.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I liked that it was. I managed to stay about one thing, and it just had a lot of characters who all wanted the same thing, but for different reasons.
Right. Yeah. And so for that reason, it was just, it was nice and quaint.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice. I don't know. It's nice seeing films that are like this level. Like this felt like a 90s level stakes in a movie that they put a lot of money into.
Yeah, it's funny to call a movie that probably cost well over $100 million quaint, but it just felt like it was just a nice, fun movie.
Yeah.
It felt like a small movie in scope.
Yeah, I wonder if they made the decision to do this after Infinity Wars because of that reason, because they were like, let's give them like this smaller scale, something a little more refreshing afterwards.
Right, because Infinity War is so big and epic and just a downer.
Real downer.
Real downer.
So maybe they didn't want to end on a downer, but it's it's still hard. It's in this weird place where...
Yeah.
It's like...
It won't matter a year from now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just in this place where we're waiting for this story to be concluded, so it's weird to get this other story. That I think completely ignores that other one.
I think that weirdness, that tonal weirdness will be gone a year from now. Because then you'll be able to, once the next Infinity War movie is out and that story is completed, you'll be able to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp and not think about any of that stuff.
Sorta, yeah. It'll always be that ending, though. Yeah, it'll always be that weird.
You don't have to watch that mid-credit scene.
It feels weird in sense of like 10 years from now when people are watching these movies. It's a weird post-credits.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
like if I were having a marathon and like watching these movies, like, or if I was like a teenager 10 years from now who are checking these movies out for the first time and I finished Infinity Wars, I wouldn't go to Ant-Man and the Wasp. I would go to the second Infinity Wars. You'd watch the first one and you say, oh, I got to see the next one. Mm-hmm. And then if you'd go back and watch Ant-Man, it just feels awkward to have this movie in between the two.
Yeah. I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's not like, it's not like future generations are going to be baffled by this.
No, it's just, it's weird to have, like, it's my frustration with this movie could almost be self-contained, And it works that way. And then there's these, like, weird loose ends on the story because of its link to this other thing. So it's like, it just feels awkward, like in terms of just wanting to craft a movie.
Yeah, the story itself, I mean, the connection to Infinity War is a postscript. Like, the story itself doesn't have any loose ends.
No, yeah. But, like, it comes pre-credits, the post-credit sequence. Yeah.
Mid-credits.
It's...
You can turn the movie off at...
Yeah. But people won't. It's just, again, it's weird to me.
I mean, there's a dumbass post-credit scene in every Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I never watch them.
Right. Those, yeah. Do those connect to the next ones? I feel like the one in the second
one and the third one does.
Yeah.
Because it's
I mean,
Orlando
those are
Bloom coming back home after being Davy Jones or whatever.
Yeah,
that's a bad movie.
Those are some bad movies. They had some problems. I hope they don't make more of those.
And Johnny Depp hopes they make more of those.
Oh yeah, he could
Johnny
use
Depp
it.
Needs some money.
This is true. This is true. Johnny Depp is in trouble. I guess he's got them Harry Potters.
That's true.
He's in them Harry Potters.
They got the Hurry Purters. David Beale. So yeah, I don't think I have any more thoughts about this movie. It's good. I liked it.
Yeah,
it was fun.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any more thoughts? Laurence Fishburne.
He's Fishburning it up. Yeah.
Good old Larry.
Larry Fish.
Yeah. I forgot he was in Dream Warriors. He is all over
super in Dream Warriors.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird when he pops up in things.
He's in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah,
well, that was
his first.
Fishburne.
Yeah, that was his first movie. He lied about his age to be in it.
I know. It was funny that he lied about his age to be in a movie about Vietnam.
Oh yeah, that was
some
perfect.
People who lied about their age to be in Vietnam.
Yeah. Good movie, Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, it's a pretty good film.
Everybody should go see that.
We just watched Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Now, there's a question I asked you in the theater. What did Michelle Pfeiffer eat for 30 years in the quantum realm?
Yeah, she also got quantum powers.
She gets all infused with quantum powers, so I guess maybe that's why.
I think she was just eating those, what are they called? The little water bears? Yeah.
The water bears.
Yeah. I liked that they were villainous. I liked when he's flying through those. I like that they give Michael Douglas this like a fantastic voyage sequence.
Yeah, it's great.
Just I wanted him to like shoot missiles at the fucking water bears or something while he went and got his wife.
Yeah,
that was very pretty too.
Yeah.
But
all
yeah,
that stuff is cool.
I don't know what she's been doing. What the hell has she been doing? She aged. I thought this is what I thought, and it would have been weird. And I'm glad they didn't do this. But I thought she was going to come out of it the same age.
Yeah, because she does say time and space don't work the same way.
Yeah, and I thought, yeah,
it's like, well, you've aged some.
Yeah, exactly.
At least, like,
so she is.
Maybe they were trying to explain why she's not as old as Michael Douglas is.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. But they
she was eating pure light.
Yeah, I think the idea
realm
is that she was just not a human, you know? Like I wonder there's nothing in the comics about that character getting like superpowers?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Cuz I was wondering if they were like setting up a comic character. Cuz like it's a little ex machina there at the end where she basically fixes Ghost by just coming out and being like I have powers now. And again, I didn't care. I didn't mind that convenience. And then she like touches her face and helps her.
They set it up a little bit by she plants her memory in Scott's mind and then she takes over his body momentarily.
Oh yeah, that was great. I was hoping for a full mouth kiss, but
I was hoping for a kiss too, but the handhold was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, and I thought Paul Rudd did good in that sequence.
Yeah,
I thought he did change characters enough, and I was scared they were gonna make it too like I thought they were like walking a tightrope there.
Yeah.
Of like they knew it's funny, but they don't want to lean into it too much.
I think he was doing an earnest Michelle Pfeiffer impression.
Yeah. And like that
so he wasn't trying to be just like overly feminine. He was just trying to duplicate this specific person's way of speaking.
Right. And they avoided, and I think this is why there was no kiss. They avoided it's funny because they're both guys.
Right.
Get it?
Yeah.
Like it was just like it's the performance and everybody's reaction in the scene.
Right, because they stop react like it still remains funny because it's Paul Rudd doing it, but like they have both Hank and Hope. As soon as they realize that it's Janet and not Scott, they stop reacting to him as if he's Scott and they just treat him like it's Janet.
Yeah, that's good.
So that was good. Yeah, I'm glad they didn't do the see, it's funny because they're both guys.
Yeah, it's just when else are we going to see Michael Douglas kiss Paul Rudd on the lips?
Probably never.
Yeah, well, we had this was our chance.
To see it. That was our chance.
Maybe there's a cutscene.
There might be.
Yeah.
There might be.
We should petition. We should remake the Ant-Man and the Wasp.
We'll call the guys who are remaking The Last Jedi and get them to remake Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Exactly. They're on it.
They're all over it, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that movie.
What dummies.
We'll do a podcast about it if it ever comes out.
I hope.
It'll be great. It was so good.
They made me like Last Jedi more, I think.
I still don't like it.
Well, the fan that like really mad fan reactions. It's like a trolley feeling in me of just like, you know what? Great movie. Like I don't know. It's
irritating to me that this movie is so important to people.
Yeah.
That one, you have to be a big piece of shit and like.
Well, it's like the Ghostbusters thing where Ghostbusters, the remake wasn't good.
Right.
But like the side of the people being like, it's bad is like, well, I don't want to stand with these people. Like. It's
a movie. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, move on.
I have moved on with my life.
Yeah.
But anyway, go see Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
It's a delightful romp.
See the shit out of it. Bring from children.
Yeah.
Even if you like
just
find
kids.
find some kids, bring them.
Just grab some random kids.
Yeah.
Bring them.
Yeah, they'll be pleased.
They will. They will enjoy their time with this film.